Hi everybody, welcome to another video. I want to talk about the Paul McCartney 1971 to 73 box set and just talk about whether or not we're going to get a second issue of this box. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. So, yes, the Paul McCartney 1971 to 73 box, which came out in December 2018 and very quickly sold out across the world. Now, it was available for a few weeks, and when it sold out, a few days later, two words appeared on the listing on the internet. Rather than it just saying sold out, it suddenly said first edition sold out. And that's led to a lot of people thinking that, well, if there's a first edition, that means that there's going to be a second edition. Now, I'm probably going to put my neck on the line here, and I might make myself unpopular, but I'm going to tell you why I do not think that a second edition of that box is going to happen. Certainly not in the next few years, and certainly not an identical box to what we've already seen. And I'll tell you why. So the interesting thing to note, the contents of this box, and it is phenomenal. It is the best release in the Paul McCartney archive collection, without doubt. For me, it's superb. Now, this is relevant. I just wanted to show you the Wings Wildlife box that comes inside the package. Now, if you look at the numbering there, this is number, well, you'd be able to look at it if it focused. This is number 1819. Okay. Now, if we look at Rose Speedway, this is so good. This is so good, this box. It is also number 1819. Okay, so the matching numbers, and that's been the same in every one of those box sets. The number for Wildlife has matched the number for Rose Speedway, and it looks like there was about 3,000 of those sets produced. Now, if they're going to start doing another run of that box, now, if they're going to make it an identical thing, they're going to have matching numbers, and that's going to be difficult to do, I think, unless they suddenly say, right, well, let's have all these Wildlife boxes in this number range, and let's have all these Red Rose numbers back in this range, and let's put them in a new box together. They could do that. Seems like a lot of work when probably the vast majority of people who want that box have already got it. Now, the other thing that I think is probably more important in all this is what message does it send out if they re-release this box in an identical way to before. So let's think about what's happened over the last couple of months. The box became available and we didn't know how limited it was going to be. Nobody knew when it was going to sell out. It just suddenly sold out one day. And people bought this expensive box set. I mean, who would have thought paying £300-400 or dollars or whatever for Wildlife was something that you were ever going to do? But lots of us have done it, and that demand is there for that, and there's going to be demand for future products. Now, I think if they re-release this, then what that's saying to people when the next box sets come out, because this has been a success, don't think that they're not going to do this kind of thing again. It sort of says to people, don't worry if you miss out, you know, there'll be another edition along soon, you can get that. And that doesn't create that demand there. It doesn't generate that same urgency for sales that MPL need. If they're going to release a really expensive box set like this, they want to know that that demand is there for it, and they want to know that people are going to want to buy that box set. And I just don't see that demand being there the same if you know that, well, it doesn't matter if I miss out on this, I'll just buy it when they bring out the next edition. So I think they'll want to keep that demand there. Now, what will they do? If we get a London Town and Back to the Egg combined box next time, which sort of seems to be the speculation that, you know, why wouldn't they do that and maybe give us a 1979 Wings concert exclusive with it? That sounds like a completely logical thing for them to do. Now, they might issue more boxes so that everybody gets one. They might up the price because demand was so big for this. Or they might think, well, is that period quite as interesting to people in general as the early 70s? It's just come out of the Beatles, he's forming Wings. I think that's a more interesting period, the early 70s myself. So there's a few sort of variables here. Is it as interesting a period in his career? Are people going to be as interested in that 1979 concert that's been heavily bootlegged over the years compared to what they were with the Wings Over Europe set, which is here and is superb, and hadn't been heard as much? I think they've got to keep that demand there for that next product, and the way to do that is to make people think that they've got to get in quick and buy it. And like I say, that's not going to happen, I don't think, to the same extent if they re-release, if they create a second edition of this 1971 to 73 box. Big barn box, as it's been called on the internet. So, yeah, there's some people have missed out on it, and that's a shame for them. And I know there's people who are wanting a second edition, but I don't see there being enough people clamouring for the box to warrant, from MPL's perspective, creating a new issue of it, because that's expensive for them. And at the end of the day, they're only going to do it if it's a good business decision. They're not going to do it just out of the goodness of their hearts, unfortunately, for the people who didn't get one of these boxes. So, like I say, it might not be a particularly popular opinion, but that is what I think is going to happen. I think the second edition is not going to happen just because it was labelled first edition. That's my thoughts. Be interested to hear what you think. Do you think that they will do another box like this next? Do you think that there should be another run of this box? Do you think I'm talking absolute rubbish? Let me know in the comments. It'd be lovely to hear from you. And thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.